show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Face in your face. Face in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I also want to let everybody know that the subscriber mode has been enabled, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you need to subscribe to the channel. First of all, as always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who already subscribed to the channel. Whether it be you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just subscribe to the channel as of today. I really appreciate all the love and all the support all you have given me. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, especially when it comes to Instagram and TikTok. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices, and a huge shout out to all those who watch from the clouds, even my haters. So therefore, all I'm going to ask you to do is the following. If you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So we have an interesting topic, something that needs to be discussed. It is unfortunately that we have to discuss this topic, but we have to do it nevertheless because it is a serious matter, okay? And we should not try to trivialize it in any way, shape, or form. So before we get into the main topic, which is what is femicide, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. As you recur about 4 months ago, there was a situation where there was a black lady who who maintained that she was struck in the face by a brick by a man because of the fact that he asked her for her telephone number and she refused to give it to him. And that led to an assault. Well, there's been a lot of controversy behind that. There have been allegations, the fact that she's a scammer, allegations whether or not the facts is that as she reported it were factual. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share a short video clip regarding this individual. And of course, it's going to be under the fair use and the whole purpose is to give my observation. So what I'm going to do is, just give me a moment. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully the image will be shown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute myself so we can hear what this article has to say. Let's give me a moment.
The woman at the center of a viral video who claimed a man threw a brick at her head because she would not give him her phone number is now wanted by Houston police. This story got national attention after that woman live streamed what she claimed was the aftermath on Instagram and started a GoFundMe. Only KPRC2's Bryce Newberry is talking with the prosecutor on this case tonight. He joins us live near the Galleria with the latest. Bryce.
Daniela, Houston police got called to this street in September, and when they arrived, the woman seen in that viral video told them that an Uber driver threw a brick at her head and then tried to kidnap her. But tonight, she has become the focus of this criminal investigation because Houston police say the surveillance footage captured by cameras on this street doesn't match her story.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just what?
This video with more than 1 million likes on the Shade Room's Instagram page captured the moments after what appeared to be a brutal attack in West Houston.
Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face?
The woman is 33-year-old Rhoda Osman.
What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this?
Seen here in tears in a hospital gown.
She told the detective that responded that she was hit in the head with a brick after she refused to give her phone number to a guy on the street.
And was that verified by any of the evidence that detectives looked at?
No, that was not verified.
Harris County prosecutor Keith Houston says surveillance videos from that early September morning show Osman hitting a man first.
So she's the one she was the aggressor.
She was the aggressor, yeah.
And it was a water bottle that hit her, not a brick?
He did have a water bottle in his hand, and we think that's what left the mark.
According to court documents, she asked someone else to launch this GoFundMe for her recovery, raising more than $42,000. But as the story went viral, a blogger on TikTok called police, alerting them to this 2020 GoFundMe, which claimed a vicious assault by a security guard in Minneapolis.
Detective Thornton verified with Minneapolis police that there was no assault done at that time. It was completely fictional.
Prosecutors allege theft by deception and believe she would have received all that money had the campaign not been shut down.
The violence that I have suffered since September 3rd is just unbelievable. I can't even believe I'm here. They try to leave me for dead.
In an Instagram story posted Wednesday, Osman addressed those who have doubted her.
I actually have things going on in my life. I actually have real ways to make money. I don't have to get a GoFundMe for money. I actually can earn income because I'm actually educated and I actually am talented.
And tonight, a spokesperson for GoFundMe telling KPRC2 GoFundMe has zero tolerance for the misuse of our platform. The fundraiser has been removed from the platform. All donors have been refunded, and Rhoda Osman has been banned from using the platform for any future fundraisers. Osman did not respond when I reached out to her on Instagram this evening. Tonight, she is wanted here in Harris County on that theft charge. Anyone with information on her whereabouts can report that to Houston police. We're live near the Galleria. I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
The woman.
So I think the videotape says it very well. Okay. This individual was a scammer who deceived hundreds of people in order to get money. And this GoFundMe account generated over $40,000. Okay? But let me make this perfectly clear. Okay? The person that actually reported this to the authorities was not a male, but a female. Okay? So shout out to the person who actually reported this farce. Okay. Now I'm going to talk to the ladies who swore up and down that this woman was innocent. When are you going to wake up and smell the coffee and realize that this person was a liar from the get-go? And this is a tragedy in another way. Okay? The tragedy behind it is that now when there are women who are legitimately assaulted and physically harmed by another person, they're going to have to go through hell and back to testify. Because unfortunately, when you have one scammer, it paints a picture on everybody else, and this is the real tragedy. Okay, and this is one of the problems where some women, and I repeat, some women have an issue with accountability. With some of them, it's like kryptonite. Okay. So the fact of the matter is, this woman, and this is not the first time that she used deception in order to get money. She said the same song in 2020, and it was proven to be false as well. Now I'm going to speak with the men who believe her. Guys, all I'm going to say is the videotape speaks for itself. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But this is not an excuse to trash all women. This is not an excuse to delegitimize women who have been physically assaulted and harmed. It is unfortunate that this happens because now the women who are truly victims are going to have a hard time to deal with their doubters and accusers. Good evening, Kiss. Thank you very much for stopping by. And again, let me make this perfectly clear. Not all women do this. Okay? Not all women are that deceptive. And that whenever anyone, male or female, is a victim of assault, we need to take it seriously, and we need to do what we can to support these dear people. When this person made it harder for the true victims to come out and express their point of view. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the main topic. Now, there have been some women who have spoken regarding this topic before. Unfortunately, whenever they talk about this topic, that's when some males get sensitive, and then they talk about, well, men get killed too. The difference is the reason why women get killed is totally different compared to what men get killed. Okay, so let's keep it real, and we're not going to trivialize this situation. It is sad that women are targeted for violence, but that is the reality. Okay. Now, before I just go into full detail regarding what is femicide, let me give you the actual definition. What does it mean? Femicide is a term for the hate crime of systematically killing women, girls, or females in general because of their gender and or sex. That is femicide at its pure definition. And it's something that happens everywhere. It's sad that this happens, but it is a reality. Now, to be perfectly honest, the first time I became aware of this tragedy was, I think it was 3 years ago. Actually, it was another YouTuber named Xtina, who discussed this tragedy, and she had a special guest. Some of you know her as my cyber donor, Denise Gonzalez, who was sharing some facts regarding the situation as it pertained to Puerto Rico. I'm not going to talk about any specific region per se, but what I am going to do is I'm going to discuss this issue because it needs to be discussed. Now, to be perfectly honest, when I originally thought about doing this stream, it was with the hope that Denise Gonzalez can share her expertise regarding this. Obviously, that's not going to be a possibility because it's situation beyond her control. But we're going to continue nevertheless. So what I'm going to do is now first, before I continue, let me make this perfectly clear that this is not going to be a stream where we bash men. We're not going to bash anybody. What we're going to do is we're going to have a serious discussion regarding this sad, tragic crime. I'm going to give you facts, and then it'll be up to you how you interpret the facts. Okay. And of course, the link has been pinned should anyone wishes to join the panel and discuss the matter. Okay. Or you can disagree with what I'm being said. This is perfectly fine. If we're going to disagree, please stay aligned with facts, not emotionalism. Okay. Because unfortunately, every time we discuss this topic, someone gets emotional and someone will say, well, it happens to men too. Of course, men get killed. But the focus is on the ones who are victims of femicide. Let me make this perfectly clear. These are women who are being killed simply because they are female. Okay? So let's keep that in mind. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can share this. Okay. Now, I came across this website known as Sanctuary for Families. Okay. And I see here we have the article. Okay. So the name of the article, The Silent Epidemic of Femicide in the United States, and it was dated March the 10th of last year. So what I'm going to do is share. Last summer, New Yorkers were rattled by the devastating senseless murder of Aisha Johnson, a 20-year-old victim of domestic violence who was shot while walking with a 3-month baby on the Upper East Side. Contrary to initial speculation, this was not a random killing. A few days after the shooting, the child's father was arrested and charged with Aisha's murder. According to her mother, Aisha's ex-boyfriend physically abused her while pregnant with her child and continued to stalk and threaten her for months. Though shocking and infuriating, Johnson's case is sadly just one of many instances of fatal violence against women. In the United States, femicide, the gender-based killing of women, is often thought as an issue affecting low-income countries. This could not be further than the truth. Of all femicide cases in high-income countries, 70% occur in the U.S. To put it in perspective, on a global scale, U.S. ranks 34th for intentional female homicides at a rate of 2.6 killing per 100,000 women. Now here's a sad statistic that you can see here. Nearly 3 women in the U.S. are killed by an intimate partner every single day. Think about it. Think about it. By the end of this day, according to that data, 3 women will be killed by an intimate partner. Moreover, in the U.S., almost 3 women are killed by intimate partner every day. Just as in the case of Aisha Johnson, women in the U.S. are predominantly killed by men they know and largely by current or former intimate partners. Of all intimate partner female homicides in 2018, 92% of the victims were killed by a man they knew, and 63 were killed by current husbands, boyfriends, or ex-husbands. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. The topic for tonight is what is femicide, okay, which is the system with this is killing women and committing all sorts of violent hate crimes simply because of the female gender. That's what it is. These staggering statistics demonstrate the misogyny behind these violent deaths. In the United States, like so many countries across the world, women are being murdered because they are women. The link between gender and violence in the U.S. has become even more apparent when looking at the demographics of male homicides. Men are significantly more likely to be killed by a stranger than women. Strangers kill 29% of male homicide victims compared to only 10% of female victims. And while it's true that some men were murdered by their female partners, intimate partner violence accounts for only about 5% of all male homicides. Too often, these occur in the context of women acting in self-defense against their abusive partners. Furthermore, when compared to male homicides, femicide tends to be more violent and more intimate in nature. Women are less likely than men to be killed in a shooting, but more likely to be beaten, stabbed, or strangled. Okay, to a certain degree, yes. I mean, women of color. I mean, it's sad but true. Now, trans women and women of color face a disproportionate risk. When considering femicide and its implications, we must acknowledge the barriers and disparities affecting marginalized women and how these increase risk of violence. Though femicide is a pervasive problem of women, the reality that for women of color is even bleaker. Men are murdering black women and girls at a rate almost 3 times higher than white women. For indigenous women and girls, the homicide rate is 6 times higher than for their white counterparts, and current and former partners are responsible for 94% of those homicides. Despite being murdered by a higher rate, black and brown women murdered and missing women are not receiving the same media attention and resources as white women. Now, here's another statistic. Compared to white women, black women are 3 times more likely to be murdered by a man. Okay. The transgender community is also profoundly affected by femicide, especially trans women of color. In 2021 was the deadliest year globally for murders of trans people, and 96% of those victims were trans women or trans feminine people. Of the known cases of anti-trans murders from 2013 to 2018, approximately 1 in 6 are suspected of having been committed by an intimate partner. A variety of factors contribute to the disproportionate violence against trans women, with trans people experiencing police violence at a 3.7 times higher rate than cisgender survivors. Trans women may be hesitant to come forward and report abuse due to institutionalized transphobia within law enforcement and the criminal justice system. Moreover, they may be wrongly denied treatment or services of domestic violence shelters because of their gender identity. According to the 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey, 22% of trans people were verbally harassed, physically attacked, or denied equal treatment or services at a domestic violence shelter or rape crisis center. Abusers may take advantage of unique struggles trans women face and use coercive force to maintain power and manipulate their victims, such as threatening to out them, telling that they're not real women, withdrawing hormone and medications, or threatening to call the police on them. Additionally, nearly 1/3 of trans people experiencing homelessness, trans women, may be financially dependent on their abuser as a result of discrimination, lack of family support, and necessary to leave an abusive relationship. Together, these factors perpetuate a cycle of violence where trans survivors are continually silenced by societal and intergenerational transphobia. The number of women killed in the U.S. is steadily rising. 2,997 women were murdered in 2019, compared to 1,691 women in 2014. Firearms significantly contribute to the fatality of crimes related to intimate partner violence. Abusers with guns are 5 times more likely to kill their victims every month. An average of 70 women in the U.S. are shot and killed by an intimate partner. While intimate partner violence is a global issue, the intersection between gun violence and intimate partner violence is uniquely American. In 2015, 92% of women killed with guns in high-income countries were from the United States. Undeniably, allowing abusers access to firearms dramatically increases the fatality of attacks against women. Simply owning a gun makes an abuser 5 times more likely to kill their partner, and using one to threaten or assault their partner makes the victim risk of being killed 20 times higher. There are a variety of other factors that can increase the risk of femicide. physically abusing women, also suffering sexual violence, are more than 7 times likely than other abused women to be killed. Women who have been choked by their partner are 7 times more likely to be killed than other abuse victims. Ultimately, the more red flags are present, the higher the risk of femicide. Nevertheless, the 2022 investigation shows law enforcement agencies are continuously ignore and dismiss red flags in domestic violence cases due to insufficient training or identifying red flags, under using lethal assessments, and lack of follow-through. Femicide in the United States cannot remain a silent epidemic. We must raise awareness, identify red flags, and take actions to prevent and decrease violent crimes against women. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to park it here. So, now let me just give you my take when it comes to this article. Okay. There's so much when it comes to this crime that we are not aware of. Okay. And the problem is when women are the victims, it's like they have to go through hell in order to share their story to get justice. Because you have certain people who do not understand, who cannot understand what these women went through, because they're not the victims of violence. Okay. And when you have something like the brick lady who made false claims that she was assaulted, it makes it harder for these women to step forward and to testify regarding what happened to them, which is why it's even more disgusting what this lady did. And rightfully, now that the authorities are pursuing her for arrest, for trial, and hopefully justice will be served. Because unfortunately, she makes the plight of these dear women even more difficult. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the times, these women suffer in silence. First of all, because they're alienated from the people who love them, from the people who care for them. And also, unfortunately, a lot of these people are dependent on their abusers. That's the sad tragedy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another article. Just give me a moment. That's right. Okay. And, and unfortunately, we're living in a society where the true victims are treated with skepticism. Okay. For whatever reason. And again, whenever we talk about women being targeted for violence and violent acts, some of the males get insensitive and hypersensitive, talk about, well, men get killed too. Of course, men get killed too, but it's for different reasons. And again, we must focus on the actual topic. And you can't be comparing apples to oranges, okay? Men, for the most part, get killed for other reasons, and it's usually, for the most part, is by strangers. A lot of women who are victims of femicide, they not only do they know their attacker, but many of them know their attacker in an intimate way, which makes it even worse. Because picture this, you are a female and you had extremely close intimate contact, okay? Yeah. Yeah, and that's the real tragedy behind it. That's the real tragedy. But think about it. I mean, if you are a woman and you have relations with a person that you felt loved you, respected you, only to physically attack you or threaten you simply because you are a female. Yeah. Could you imagine the trauma that she goes through? If she somehow survives, she's going to require a great deal of mental and emotional healing. Okay? And some of these women do not recover completely. Some of them carry the scars for the rest of their lives. Yeah, I agree. And usually, this happens with women who are dependent on their attackers, whether it be for financial support, whether it be because they have a home or they have resources of which the women do not have. And of course, it also happens in a larger degree with women of color. Exactly. That is my whole point. And this whole point where men have to dominate women to the extent that they have to use violence. I'm sorry, but that's not a man in any stretch of the imagination. No real man will have to resort to violence in order to control anyone. Okay. And when you think about it, it's weakness, emotional weakness. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to share another article. Okay. Just give me a moment. So what I'm going to do is hopefully, okay. I came across a website called UN Women. And this article came out, um, in fact, about 2 months ago. Okay, excuse me. Yes? I may have to step out for a moment because I had ordered some groceries. But let's just share what this article is about. Gender-related killings, which is known as femicide, are the most brutal and extreme manifestation of violence against women and girls. Defined as the intentional killing of a gender-related motivation, femicide may be driven by stereotypical gender roles, discrimination towards women and girls, unequal power relations between men and women, or humble social norms. Despite decades of activism from women's rights organizations, world awareness, and action from member states, the available evidence shows the progress in stopping such violence has been deeply inadequate. With the aim of galvanizing global action against this all too pervasive crime, in line with vision of the General Equity Forum Action Coalitions. Excuse me to set the step away for a moment. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. UN Office of Drugs and Crime and UN Women have joined forces to produce a second joint edition of a report of gender-related killings of women and girls, released ahead of the International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women and the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The report showing findings add heightened urgency to an existing global emergency. Here are 5 key findings. Women and girls are most likely to be killed by those closest to them. That's something that we already shared earlier tonight. In 2002, around 48,800 women and girls worldwide were killed by their intimate partners or family members, including fathers, mothers, uncles, and brothers. This means, on the average, more than 133 girls are killed every day by someone in their own family. Current and former intimate partners are by far the most likely perpetrators of femicide, accounting for an average of 55% of all intimate partner and family-related killings. Good evening, Ramon. This year, okay, let me just before I go on, let me just make sure no one. Okay, just chill out. Ramon, good evening, Kesha. Thank you very much for stopping by. Okay. Okay, let me just. Okay, where was I? This year recorded the highest number of total intentional female homicides, indicating that the world is failing to stop deaths that could be prevented through early intervention, gender-responsive policing and justice, and access to survivor-centered support and protection. Femicide is a universal problem. I agree. Like all forms of gender-based violence against women and girls, femicide is a problem that affects every country and every territory across the globe. According to the new report, in 2022, Africa recorded the highest number of female intimate partner and family-related killings, with an estimated 20,000 victims, followed by 18,400 in Asia, 7,900 in the Americas, 2,300 in Europe, and 2,000 in Oceania. Adjusting for the total population size, available data shows that in 2022, 2.8 women and girls per 100,000 were killed by intimate partner or family member in Africa, compared to 1.5 in the Americas, 1.1 in Oceania, and 0.8 in Asia, and 0.6 in Europe. The true scale of femicide is much likely higher. Okay. While numbers presented in the report are alarmingly high, they are the tip of the iceberg. Too many victims of femicide still go unaccounted for, roughly 4 in 10 intentional murders of women and girls. And this is not enough information to identify them as gender-related killings because of natural variation in criminal justice recording and investigation practices. In many cases, only gender-related killings perpetrated by intimate partner or family partners are counted as femicides. Yet we know that gender-related killings take place in many contexts beyond the private sphere. They can be related to rape or sexual violence by someone unknown to the victim, linked to harmful practices such as female genital mutilations or so-called honor killings as a result of hate crimes linked to sexual orientation or gender identity, or connected with armed conflict, gangs, human trafficking, and other forms of organized crime. Ensuring the availability of comprehensive disaggregated data is critical to strengthening femicide prevention, protection, and response measures, as well as access to justice. To help move beyond the current limitation of data collection, UNODC and UN Women developed the statistical framework for measuring gender-related killing of women and girls, femicide, approved by the United Nations Statistics Commission in March of 2022. Some groups of women and girls face greater risk. There continue to be significant limitations in data and information on gender-related killings of certain groups of women and girls. Women in the public eye, including those in politics, women and human rights defenders and journalists, are often targets of international acts of violence, both online and offline, with some leading to fatal outcomes and intentional killings. Despite later limitations, the available evidence from Canada and Australia suggests that Indigenous women are disproportionately affected by gender-related killings, as per 4.3 per 100,000 women and girls at a rate of female homicide in Canada was 5 times higher among Indigenous than non-Indigenous women and girls in 2021. To prevent infanticide, it is critical of national authorities and comprehensive data on victims. By identifying women and girls at greater risk, countries can better inform prevention and protection mechanism. And the last thing, femicide can and must be prevented. Gender-related killings and other forms of violence against women and girls are not inevitable. That can and must be prevented through primary prevention initiatives focused on transforming harmful social norms and engaging whole communities and societies to create zero tolerance for violence against women, early intervention and risk assessment, access to survivor-centered support and protection, as well as gender-responsive policing and justice services are key to ending gender-related killing of women and girls. One innovative practice potential is to enhance necessary reform on depth in stakeholder review and gender-related killings of women and girls. These often involve families or social networks of victims with the aim of improving institutional responses and preventing future killings. Okay. And I'm just going to stop it here. So as you can see, this is a worldwide crisis, okay? And this is a situation where there's a great deal of ignorance regarding this crime. It is sad, it is unfortunate. Not only, and also, unfortunately, these women, a lot of the times, are victims of femicide. Now, I have been talking for almost an hour, okay? Just like I said before, the link to join the panel has been pinned. If anyone wants to come up and share their point of view, maybe you wish to agree or disagree, you're more than welcome to do so. What I will ask is, let us keep focus on the actual topic, and let's try to avoid using the term, well, men get killed too. Men do get killed. Men are victims of violence as well. But it is not the same thing, and we need to bear that in mind. Okay. Let's see. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to briefly share one more thing, something that can. So a lot of this information, it's from the UN. So this is not an Hosseini grown thing. This is not a women thing. This is a crisis. Okay, this is a serious crisis because, unfortunately, we don't know fully the number of victims, or better yet, the number of women who have been victims of femicide. And I suspect there are probably more cases which, for whatever reasons, go unreported. So I'm just going to share one more thing. Okay. So hopefully the image will appear. So this is taken from the World Health Organization, otherwise known as WHO. And these are certain things to take into consideration. And of course, this is the overview. Femicide is generally understood to involve intentional murder of women because they are women, but broader definitions include killing of women or girls. This information sheet focuses on the narrow definition commonly used in policies, laws, and research: international murder of women. And these are certain issues to take into consideration, which is intimate partner violence, sexual violence, male genital mutilation, human trafficking, and health consequences. So these are things to take into account. And I'm going to park it here. So, what's my take in all this? This is a serious crisis. As I stated before, this is a serious issue. This is a serious crisis, okay? Unfortunately, people tend to trivialize it. I hate to say this, but some men and some women tend to trivialize this issue. Part of it has to do with ignorance. Part of it is denial. But the fact of the matter is, it exists. So my question is the following. Are you going to actually take the time to study this tragedy for yourself? Or are you going to do the ostrich thing and put your head through the hole in the sand, hoping and praying and hope that this matter will go away? The choice is yours. Okay. I choose to try to be as well informed as possible. And hopefully with what I have discussed, shed some light. Okay. If no one wishes to join the panel, I'll stop to wrap it up. Okay. And I would encourage all of you to become knowledgeable when it comes to this issue. Because remember, this can happen to anyone. It can happen to your mother, your sister, your daughter. It can happen to your it can happen to your cousin. Okay. And we don't know how many people are suffering because of this crisis. We do not know. Okay. I know Xtina did a stream regarding this topic 3 years ago. I also know Denise Gonzalez also discussed the issue as well. Of course, it was in the context of femicide in Puerto Rico, which the court system has a great deal to be desired. Okay. Okay, I was hoping to see. Okay. Apparently, the video has been privated, but I think, but I think you would enjoy it. Let's see. I think. Just give me a moment. I know Denise Gonzalez has also discussed it as well. Okay. Okay. Actually, about 3 years ago, Denise did a stream which the title is called The sad case of Andrea Ruiz. For those of you who are not familiar, she was a woman that was a victim of femicide. She was killed by her ex partner. Her ex partner made threats of violence, harassed her, and she went to the court to try to get an order of protection against her perpetrator. Unfortunately, they did not take her issues seriously, and as a result, she was killed. So, if you wanted to have a more deeper understanding when it comes to femicide, go to Latin Explaining and look for the stream called The Sad Case of Andrea Ruiz. You're going to find a great deal of statistical data, which is shocking. Okay. But with that being said, let me just talk about what's going to be the topic for our next stream. I'm going to be doing a stream on Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be talking about why join unions, okay? And why am I talking about this topic? First of all, because there are many benefits in joining a union, okay? Among them, there's greater strength in numbers, there's due process, there's opportunities for promotion, pensions, healthcare, things of that nature. And there was once a time where unions did not exist, and basically employees was at the mercy of their employers, and they can do and say whatever, and they can lose their jobs with no justification. So for that reason, I'm going to be discussing it. And of course, I happen to belong to a union myself. Okay, I'm part of District Council 37. So, and I'm second generation union family, union supporter. So I'm going to be sharing that with all of you. Okay. And I would encourage all of you, if you're not, you have the opportunity to join a union, do so. Okay. Well, you know what? That makes it more the more reason why I love New York. Okay, because New York is a union state. And New York City is a union city. Okay. And when everything is said and done, okay, unions have done more good than wrong. Okay. But that's my take on the situation. And one thing I said this before. Yes, it is a liberal state. I get it. However, it does not take away the fact. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's many factors why people are moving to Texas. Okay. Of course, here in New York, we experience many things. Okay. Now, the good news is tonight it's going to be going down to the teens. So we're going to have a case of light winter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, let me tell you something. Texas has its positive things that attracts people. Florida has its positive things, and so does New York. Okay, I'm not going to badmouth any state. Okay, so that's going to be the discussion. And of course, I appreciate all the love and all the support all of you have given me. Okay, just to give, the fact of the matter is that within a 90-day period, I have gained 70 subs. Within a month and a half, the platform has been have increased by over 20,000 views. So all of you have made it possible. Okay. So with that being said, since no one else is going to join me, I'm gonna I'm gonna put this stream to bed. And of course, all of you are more than welcome to enter your comments after the stream is over. I'm just gonna ask that you please, let's keep it positive, okay? And thank you, Case, for stopping by. Of course, you're more than welcome to hop on the chat, or whenever you are able, hop on the panel and express your point of view. Okay. It would have been nicer to see more women in the chat, but it is what it is. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, going back to the original topic, this is a serious talk. This is a serious issue, and we needed to discuss it. And this will not be the only time I will discuss it. When it's appropriate, I will discuss it again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap this up, and of course, I'm gonna end it by saying the same thing I always say. We must do everything we can to minimize the influence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, saying good night, take care. Oops, let's just take care of the comment. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. So, have a good night. Take care. Oops. I'm sorry, it's just my computer's a little slow. Take care. Oops. And peace.